They have the hard-hitting analysis.
I'm anti-injury, so maybe this won't work out.
Kyler's only playing one tight end this week, so that's probably going to help him out a lot.
They tell it like it is.
That's not what I needed, Grandma Nut.
All right, the hipster fantasy player.
I don't do anything.
Their listeners love them.
Found all your charts boring, to be frank. Caitlin was the star of the show.
They break down all the statistics.
20 points. That doesn't quite add up. Maybe he had 93.
This is the Snick Snack Sports Podcast.
Here we... All right, Snickers, help me out.
What's going on, all you fantasy football fans out there? Welcome back to the last week of the fantasy regular season. How are you doing today, Nate?
Doing great, Snickers. We got an in-person episode, so we're here at the Westwood location of the fantasy football headquarters. And yeah, got the last day of the regular season episode for you. It's week 14, Rivalry week, round 2.
Rivalry week, round 2. Here we go.
That's right. And we have a good one. We've got Karson on the show for the first time this year. He'll join us in a few minutes. We got a few scenarios to break down. Nick has laid out all the ways in which Karson and myself could sneak in, or Ducky and Kyle can be out. So, yeah, we'll jump right into it. Last week was an exciting one. I think, one of the biggest storylines was that Ducky had a terrible week despite having probably the most dominant-looking team I've ever seen. Not to be freaking out a little bit. I even heard some rumors he was trying to sell some pieces he didn't think he had to take.
He could miss the playoffs, guys.
He could. We'll talk about the scenario where that happens. That would be shocking, honestly. Of course, I'm rooting for it because that is likely my best path into the playoffs this moment. But he's had a great season with some unlucky turns, I think, and figured out how to exploit the system to build a power team. But yeah, we had the bet this week. We can go through that. Nick, it looks like it's went my way.
Yeah, it did. So you had Nico Collins, you had Brock Purdy, and you had Trevin Henderson, who combined scored about 46 points, a lot better than the 21 points he scored last week.
Indeed.
I had Josh Allen, Devon Achane, and Jackson Smith-Njigba. Thanks a lot, Ducky, who scored about 42 points. All Jason needed to do was score 7 points, which he hasn't done yet this year. He hasn't scored that low yet. But I scored about 42. Nate got the 2 points. I got the 1 point, and Kyle scored 0 points with his Jake Plummer, Jonas Gray, Dwayne Bowe lineup, which are all great picks there. But
I thought Dwayne would have at least got us a point, but
yeah,
no, indeed. Turns out retirement is hard to recover from. And
so that brings the total to Nate has 10 points now. I'm at 13.
Going into the playoffs, I'm going to have to make some great picks in the brackets. And if I make it into the playoffs, it'll be easy because it'll be me all the way. Otherwise, we will need some luck to come back from this one.
Mm-hmm.
I've never lost, remember. We've tied, and I have won seasons 1 and 3.
Yeah. That's how I won. I was up by a lot. I should have definitely won that. But being in the playoffs this year, being able to vote for myself, I think is going to be a huge factor in my favor here.
Now, let's take a look at the standings. This, I think, is the thing I'm the most excited to talk about today, just how this is all going to pan out. There's both some seeding issues for the playoffs, some seeding issues for the toilet bowl.
Mm.
Don't know if you have those scenarios for us, and we have 4 people left who their fate is not determined for which group they're going to be in. So our playoff ranking here, we have you in first place. Have also clinched the bye.
Yeah.
And then we have Kenny, Katie, and Shane, who all could get the bye. And then we have Ducky and Kyle, who are currently in 89 and 85% respectively. Myself at 22%, the first team out, and then Karson at 4%. His scenario is complicated. And then we have Kyler's been eliminated, Matt's been eliminated, Volunteer Nick and John have been eliminated. But yeah, what are the scenarios for the ins versus outs? Let's go there first, Nick.
Yeah, ins versus outs. So starting with Ducky, if he goes 2-0, he'll need either Katie or Shane to go 0-2 in order to get the 4 seed. But if Ducky goes 2-0, he's in. If Kyle goes 2-0, he's going to be in.
And if they go 1-1, they're in.
If they go 1-1, either one of them's going to be in. Yeah. Nate's kind of path in here is if Ducky wins and Kyle goes 0-2, Nate will get the 6 seed. If Kyle wins, Ducky goes 0-2, Nate will also get the 6 seed because he has the tiebreaker over Ducky. And if Ducky wins and Kyle goes 1-1, then Nate needs to score a lot of points here.
Who goes 1-1?
I think if Kyle goes 1-1 and you go 2-0,
I think I would lose because he has the head-to-head on me.
yeah,
So I don't think our points will matter.
okay.
But so I think it basically comes down to it. One of these two guys to go 0-2. I need to go 2-0 because I need to beat Kyle outright, but I can tie Ducky, which leads to kind of them having an equivalent record.
Yeah,
From my perspective.
yeah. If you all end up with the same record, I will go Kyle, Nate, Ducky.
Interestingly, I think from the perspective of points for here, very similarly deserving teams. We all have a similar range of points. Kyle does have the most at 1462. I'm at 1433. Ducky's at 1431. So his super team, has not actually given him a huge advantage of points for to this point in the season. But I think we all assume that it will in the playoffs if he makes it. Even though last week was so bad, which I see as anomalous, even if I know that I've spoken to him and he thinks that maybe his team is not as strong as people think it is. I disagree. I think that was bad luck can happen to any team. And JSN, like you said, had his worst week of the year.
Yeah. I mean, speaking of points scorer, Katie's obviously been the anomalous team as far as low points in her own thing, but her and Shane are facing off this week. Whoever wins basically is getting a 3 seed. If they both have the tiebreaker over Ducky, and if Kenny goes 0-2 and then also loses by about 60 points, then he'll be able to drop down all the way to the 5 seed. But right now it's projected me, Kenny, Shane, and Katie are going to be swapping off, and then you, Kyle, and Ducky flexing off for the last 2 seeds here, basically.
So you're saying it does matter the outcome of their game, even though Shane has way more points than Katie. Did Katie beat him in week 1? Is that the reason?
Katie beat him in week 1, yeah. So if Shane wins, he'll obviously go 2-0 and beat Katie. If Katie wins, then she'll be 2-0 against Shane.
Right. So yeah, I see. And so, because if Shane wins this week, yeah, and basically whoever wins will have the better record.
Yeah.
Unless they go 1-1. So yeah, it's really a head-to-head for the 3rd versus 4th seed there. I know that Shane is also has built a bit of a super team here. So another team that the playoff teams will not want to be facing this week. And then for the toilet bowl, I think it's very likely that Karson or I will be the number 1 seed, or whoever is the 6th man out. Any sneaky favorites do you think we should be looking for in this toilet bowl?
To win or to lose the toilet bowl?
To win.
Yeah, I think I think out of you, Kyle and Ducky, whoever ends up there is probably going to win the toilet bowl. Most of the other teams have given up, and Karson, historically at least, has not tried too much after he's not made the playoffs. But Nick Adams had a pretty good week last week. I think he is a dark horse trying to win the toilet bowl.
Yeah, I think it's a bunch of teams that have sold out. Of course, if Kyle or Ducky don't make the playoffs, they would instantly be a favorite because they have teams that I think could win it all at this point, as being both buyers in the trade deadline. Yeah. Now, what about the news around the NFL?
Yeah, we had a couple injuries last week. Nothing, I think, too bad. The biggest one, Justin Herbert, hand surgery on Monday, playing next Monday here. He's going to be, it sounds like, totally fine, except he's going up against the Eagles. That's not totally fine. Marvin Harrison Jr., heel, is going to be pretty injured. Aaron Jones' shoulder is going to be injured. Drake London. So I think still a game time decision for Sunday here. We got Jay McCarthy, number 9, back. We got Jaden Daniels probably gonna be back against the Vikings in that game on Sunday. We got Mike Evans, Jalen McMillan. I know Bucky Irvin played last week. The Buccaneers are quote unquote at full strength here. You got Adam Thielen, obviously dropped by the Vikings last week, signed by the Steelers, who cut big play Slay. He signed with the Bills. And we got Pats, Giants, 49ers, and Panthers on bye this week.
Yeah, a rough week for the buys. I know in the NFL this week isn't anything special. In the fantasy world, it's a big week, and I know we probably won't talk about my matchup otherwise, but I had all the running back depth. I was pretty happy with it. No superstars, I think, there, but felt pretty confident. And then all on bye. Everyone's on bye this week. Somehow managed to, the Giants, the Pats, the Panthers are kind of my running backs. So
It's surprising that the 49ers aren't the ones hurting your team here. But yeah, it's going to be good. You have to go 2-0 against me, which is going to be a lot of fun. You're not projected to win currently, but I think certainly rooting for you. The only way I can lose the 1 seed we didn't talk about is if I go 0-2 and Kenny beats me by 60 points.
Oh, and in front of you, Ken, you clinched the bye. Oh, that's the 1
That's
seed.
the bye, yeah.
1 seed, yep. And the one thing I'm thinking also, I know I've been talking with a lot of people around the league about how the win against the league has become nominal because there are so many teams that sold. And looking at it, that's actually not the case. The line last week was 106, just like the week before. 106 is actually a higher line than it's been for a lot of the season when the teams were more even. And I think it's because there are 4 teams that are projected to get really low scores, but it's not a league average that you're trying to get above; it's the league median. And so there are actually still, 8 teams with very serviceable lineups. And so it is still very possible to get a decent score like 105.
Yeah.
And not get it. And which means that it's actually much more likely that myself, who needs to win against the league, or Ducky or Kyle, that'll make a big difference, could feasibly get it by having, Nick Adams score 106 points or something.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, now let's welcome Karson onto the show. All right, welcome, Karson. How you doing?
Good. How are you guys?
Excellent. Yeah,
Doing good.
thanks for joining us.
Of course.
Last week of the regular season. Got a 4% chance to make the playoffs here. What are you rooting for right now?
Honestly, I am just rebuilding. Traded Chase a couple weeks ago. Hopefully get some picks, like a decent pick I got a decent pick for that, so I'm hoping to pick up some decent talent, start rebuilding. I mean, I joined the league a little later, so, still trying to pick and choose who I'm going to keep, who I'm not going to keep.
Yeah, man.
Well, I don't know if you're aware of the scenario that will allow you to get into the playoffs this year, are you?
I am not.
Okay, so I was doing a little bit of math, and I think this is all accurate. You obviously need to go 2-0. If Kyle goes 0-2 and Nate goes 1-1, you just have to outscore Nate by 60 points and Kyle by 80 points.
Hey, weirder things have happened this year.
Yeah, man. I mean, you have to have a super hot start, then a little bit of a falter in the middle there, and then you're back to going basically 500 ball the last couple of weeks.
Yeah, I think the thing that really hurt me was, Chase, he was
number 1 pick, man.
Yeah. See, I don't know. I mean, he's not
there.
Yeah, and then I mean, Burrow getting hurt didn't help either. So
yeah, it's certainly hard to say. Certainly hard to say that was a bad pick on your part. I think anyone could have easily made that pick in your position, so that's kind of the luck element there.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, and then just, running backs, this is the season of giving it to RB2s for touchdowns for some reason.
Yeah.
But
yeah, and your week has been maybe the hardest to understand. With a lot of these teams, you kind of label them in your head as, oh yeah, Nick's a good team this year. John's a bad team this year. But for you, I keep changing my mind. You had a really good start to the year, and then your team went through some really tough times, and then I think more recently it's been okay. But yeah, you do need need a pretty special week, I think, to pull it off. I know you also
Hey,
were hurt by that really unfortunate scenario. I don't remember which week it was, where you just forgot to check before Thursday, which I've certainly done before. And then like you couldn't play anybody, you had to drop Zay
yeah,
Flowers.
yep. Also, I mean, I'm off to a good start this week. I mean, my kicker got like 16 points, so
Yeah, man, 30 points. You're currently projected 116, which is definitely good enough to beat the league and to beat, Kyler here. So 2-0, checking off your back pocket. You need to score, I think, a lot more points in order to fit the scenario we're just talking about and kick Nate out here. But it's off to a good start. You haven't had the Bills play yet, so it's gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
yep.
Yeah, here, pull up our thing for the week. Now, we've been asking a lot of people, Carson. One of the, I think, bigger rule changes we've had in recent years was this whole thing where you can get 2 wins or 2 losses in a given week. How do you feel about it?
It's a little confusing, but I mean, I don't hate it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the idea is that it would take a little bit of the luck element out of it, and of course, we want some luck, and that's part of what makes it fun is trying to figure what's going to happen. But um, the like if you it creates less of a feeling of, oh man, I got so unlucky that my team was great this week and I still lost. Now, if your team's great, you get partial credit.
Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I'm beating Kyler. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I was gonna say, how much is that gonna factor into it? You're currently 1 game up on him. As long as you go 2-0, there's no way he can beat you. Do you guys have any, brotherly bet going on this week?
Uh, no, he doesn't like to make bets really on fantasy, mainly because for some reason it's either, depending on the league, I either always beat him or he always beats me. So it always kind of evens out. So it doesn't really, I don't know. I mean, well, maybe we'll have to look into that start next season because I think we're in
Yeah, that
two or
would.
three leagues together.
Oh, really? That would. I think that would be fun. I know that you guys are the official rivals for obvious reasons, playing each other twice this year. Kyler can still beat you, Carson. Looking at the thing here, if he goes 2-0 and you go 0-2, he's past you. I don't remember who won in your first matchup.
Got it right here. Karson got the win, 131 to 103. Part of your hot start there. You went 2-0 week one.
Yep. Yeah.
That's right. So
Well, Kyler, depending on if he checks his lineup right now, I mean, Kamara doesn't look like he's going to be playing. So,
A couple weeks. Yeah.
good
yeah.
points. Yeah. So a little hard to tell, what to expect from him.
He's
Like,
got Ramondre and by too. That's one of his 2 running backs.
oh, I see. Yeah. So we're in a situation here where if Kyler wants to roster a full lineup, he's going to need to pick someone off the waivers. And break his trend of having more than 2 running backs. Somehow he's made it this far without having to worry about that.
Yeah, he's I don't know what goes through his mind sometimes.
I know he's been catching a lot of flack on some of the trades he's made this year. How do you feel about those trades? I actually don't remember which ones those were, but
Yeah, traded away Jackson Smith and Jigba, traded away Christian McCaffrey for basically 3 or 4 bags of peanuts, and it's he didn't even get any draft picks for McCaffrey, I don't think. So
Well, he might be doing something off the books. We might want to look into that because he's a sketchy guy.
yeah, Shane, get on that.
yeah, good points. Off the book, an investigation has not yielded anything in the past, although people have suspected, personal flavors before. No evidence has come to life. Maybe you can help us with that, Carson. Set up a
Yeah,
sting.
yeah. I think I still know his phone password, so I could check.
Very nice. Um, and so this week it seems kind of obvious that you will win unless something terrible happens. So really the part of the deal where you get the win against Kyler is not the barrier to you making the playoffs. Unfortunately, just like me, I think you have to rely on other people having bad weeks too.
Yep. Yeah, but hey, like you said, it's a lot of luck, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and just before we move on from your team here, um, Any MVPs from this roster you want to highlight? We know you got some superstars, maybe some unsung heroes.
I would say James Cook at one point, but then he kind of had a couple weeks where he just did not perform great. And but I would still give it to him. I have Tank Bigsby, who I don't think has gotten the ball once this year. So if there's the opposite of an MVP, so an LVP, I guess, least valuable player, that would be him.
Yeah.
Yeah, currently ranked 76th in the league. I'm surprised that he's still on your roster for that matter.
He's
Yeah,
the
yeah,
backup to Saquon Barkley. Yeah, man.
yeah. Well, I Saquon had a great year last year. You never know what's going to happen. So I think I got him pretty late in the draft. Maybe a keeper if need be. I might
I'm
have picked him up.
noticing
I
that.
don't remember.
Yeah, I don't remember exactly how he ended up on your team either. But it looks like you did get a carry 2 weeks ago and got it for 8 yards, so that's not bad.
Yeah, yeah.
And honestly, and the week before that, averaging 8.5.
You got a touchdown against the Giants. Looks like, or no, just 100 yards. Yeah, because Saquon went out early in that game. Yeah.
So when he's played well. If we
Yeah.
take out week 10.
So maybe a good keeper if Saquon gets hurt or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, or if for some reason he moves on, although I don't think that's very likely this year.
I don't think so, but possibly. Who knows? Eagles have done stupider.
And what's the matchup you wanted to highlight here, Nick?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really focusing on the Katie Shane matchup, number 3 there, watching basically the battle, like we said, for the 3 seed. If something happens with Kenny, or if one of these teams gets really bad, then they can get 2, 3, 4, 5. But yeah, it's going to be really exciting. Obviously, these two are huge rivals; they always have been, and it's a pretty exciting matchup. Seeing as Katie's ahead of Shane, having beaten in week 1, but it doesn't matter if Shane wins this week, then he'll pop up above her, and if Katie wins this week, then she'll basically guarantee herself the 3 seed.
Yeah, yeah. This was a rivalry that kind of worked out well this year. Katie hasn't actually scored that many points, but she's scored the points at the right times, and has a roster that can do it. Now looking at these rosters here, Karson, do you think Katie will be able to pull off kind of an upset against Shane's super team and put herself ahead in the seedings?
Well, I think it really comes down to the running backs on this one because Saquon, I mean, he's hasn't had the greatest season, but we all know what he's capable of. So if he has, one of them games, he could definitely do it. CD, Dallas has been looking good lately, which I hate saying, but they have been. Um, as far as like A Chain, I mean, he's just always been, reliable to get at least a touchdown, or maybe more. But I mean, the Jets, they got a decent defense. They're not the greatest team, but anything can happen. I mean, Miami beat Buffalo a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, and I think it's going to be a really, I think, exciting matchup. Shane does look better on paper, and I think I'm going to have to give it to him because most of his players have pretty high upside. Though Justin Jefferson, a lot of people are benching him all around the world here. That because the Vikings passing offense has been absolutely horrible here.
The worst season of his career by far.
Yeah, he didn't have a great week last week for sure.
Yeah, and I think that obviously CeeDee Lamb had a good week on paper here. I think he was robbed of having a great week because he went out with a concussion like halfway through that game on Thursday.
Yeah. And
so
Chicago's new running back. I think he's a rookie this year, right? Or might be
Yeah,
wrong
that
on
guy
that.
has been great.
Yeah, he's been great.
So yeah, and I think Debo's having a bit of a resurgence season. I've been pulling up on the screen just some of these ranks. So 26 are mine. This season's not that good. He's had some good weeks.
I mean, he doesn't have anyone throwing the ball to him. It's Mariota.
Yeah, good points. And as we talked about right before you joined Karson, that he might have his starter back.
Yeah,
He hasn't looked that great when he's been on the field, but
he's been injured in every game. Yeah, it's been a little rough, but yeah, this is gonna be a good one. What's the big matchup you're focusing on, Nate?
yeah, for me, obviously we've already is Kyle versus Ducky. These are two teams both kind of shaking in their boots that if they really drop the ball to 0-2, they're the out because either you or I will replace them, Karson.
Let's do it.
So both of us are very interested in this. Now, Kyle has had a hot start, and he's really just been resurgent recently. Didn't make quite the level of moves that Ducky or Shane did, but was certainly a buyer. And his have paid off, I think, the most so far.
Yeah, AJ Brown's been great ever since he told
Drop me in
fantasy
fantasy
managers
football.
to trade him.
Yep.
Yeah,
Which is hilarious. Obviously, when he got traded to Kyle, he didn't have to pay that much because he was on John's team, but it was kind of seemed like a lateral move with Drake London
Yeah.
coming back soon, and AJ Brown's been awesome, and so that worked out huge for him. He also was known for trading for Justin Jefferson at the right time 2 years ago in his first championship.
yeah.
So maybe a little bit of under the radar trade master thing going on for Kyle here. We'll see if maybe Brock Bowers. I actually don't know how he's been doing since the trade. Let's take a look. Actually, I had a big week last week and had a above average tight end week the week before. So I think
Yeah,
we would say
he had
that
he had that amazing one-hand catch for a touchdown.
Yeah, you see that on the ground. That was pretty awesome.
So yeah, Kyle's treated well here. I have little hope that with this start, we also had this ridiculous week from a kicker, 24 points, and doing one of the highest kicker weeks I've seen. I don't have a lot of hope that he will go 0-2. So we're looking at will Nick go 0-2?
Who, yeah, I didn't think Amon Ra was going to be playing this week, and he did suit it up. He looked great on Thursday night. Only got 12 points, which isn't, bad, isn't great. I thought he was replacing Amon Ra with Adeline Mitchell, who is, legendary Colt, legendary Jet now. But yeah, Ducky's team on paper looks good. Aaron Jones is hurt. JSN did poorly last week. Going to do definitely a lot better this week. But Tyler Warren also has been kind of in a slump. He's been scoring like 6-7 points each week, which is not great. But it's going to be close. I think is Kyle favored right now. This one, Michael Wilson being the superstar that he is, 129 to 117. 117, still going to beat the league if he gets that, Nate. So we need one of these guys to go 0-2 in order for you guys to have a chance here.
Oh, definitely. I mean, that Ducky is always going to be projected high. It's a matter of whether a repeat of last week happens and, some combination of, Aaron Jones or Matt Stafford or JSN doesn't have that week.
Mm-hmm.
He'll probably need like two big flops to get the 0-2 here.
Yeah. Ducky, I'm going to put this out there right now. I know you're going to be watching it later today. If Adeline Mitchell fumbles on the goal line again for a touchback and that makes you lose and get out of the playoffs, I will give you $1.
Wow. Well, what do you think, Karson? Any hope here that perhaps Nick will go 1-2?
Depends. Who's he play next week?
Who's he playing next week? Well, it depends on whether he
Yeah.
this is the last week of the
Oh yeah. Yep. So there's hope. Small chance, but hope.
Yeah, you can get 4, 5, 6, or 7 seed. So 7 seed, obviously, out of the playoffs. Let's see exactly how it goes. I think that, yeah, I mean, relying on other people is not, very fun. I know, Nate, you're going to be watching this game like a hawk, all weekend, but it's going to be pretty fun. It looks like Kyle off his 1-7 start, coming back to almost guarantee himself a playoff spot is pretty impressive.
Yeah. If he wins the championship this year, tons of credit to Kyle for not sleeping on that one. And then it just so the trade deadline happened 3 days ago.
Yeah.
So no more trades can occur. The trade deadline was actually pretty quiet after a lot of trades happening, including one from you, Karson, maybe 2 weeks before that. but we do still have the waiver wires. And here it looks like there's actually a bit of a battle for Brenton Strange. Ended up getting picked up by Shane for $9. But Kenny wanted them as well. And then you believe that Chuba is back in the driver's seats. I know he has split time evenly last week. I believe they're on bye this week. So
Yeah.
We'll see about that. And you also tried to get Jordan Love. Don't bother. He has not been good this year.
Someone else picked him up yesterday. But yeah, got Evan McPherson and Money Mac trying to do the long playoff run with the Cincinnati Bengals, hoping they get the playoffs as well. But yeah, we got a couple other guys here. Adonai Mitchell. Like I said, people put money on him because he got a touchdown last week, but it's fool's gold there. He's a superstar that never was.
Yeah. And I guess maybe just while we're talking about transactions, Karson, maybe break down the trade that you made. I don't remember what it was. You might remember.
For Jamar Chase and
What was that?
What was that trade you made at the trade deadline, Karson? You sold Jamar Chase.
yeah.
Yes, it was. I have to look.
Okay, we can take a look.
I don't remember what the pick was.
Jamar Chase and a 9th-round pick for Tez Johnson and a 2nd-round pick, so you get an extra second next year.
Yes.
No matter what happens. But Tez Johnson also pretty great. If injuries, considering through the offseason, he might be a good keeper.
Yep, he was solid. He was having a solid couple games this year, so I was happy with it. I mean, obviously on paper it doesn't look great like Chase for Johnson, but yeah, the pick I think it'll really help me, get a shot next year, and then just be able to not stress a later round pick as much.
Yeah, I think I actually like the trade for you, Karson, because I think it was, in the history of trades, it's been very hard for people to acquire a 2nd-round pick. I think Justin Jefferson went for a 3rd-round pick. He was traded at the deadline. Getting the 2 is huge. That could be like Justin Jefferson next year.
Correct.
So I know it obviously hurts your chance of making the playoffs this year. Your chances were pretty slim at that point, anyways. But so I think looking towards the future makes sense if you have an opportunity to pick up a 2nd.
For sure. And I won last week without him, so
Yeah.
Right. Could happen again this week. You could find yourself in the playoffs without your star player, and
yeah.
You'll take it. Great. And then anything else we need to discuss today?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm already locked in to the playoffs here, but Karson, you first. Do you have a message to the league about not letting you into the playoffs once you get in, that you're going to just tear it up here? Any kind of thing you need to tell the league about that? Just worry about your team.
Well, this is a rebuild year for me. If I make the playoffs, watch out because got a solid team. I have faith in them. Just 4% chance. I do owe Nick Adams a shotgun, but I'm not doing it because it's 9 a.m. So I will make fair on that bet at a later date.
All right, they have to do is to post Discord. But yeah, well, we're looking forward to that. Thanks for keeping it honest with the shotgun. But I had forgotten that you owed one of those. But looking forward to seeing you pay up.
Nate, do you have anything you want to say to the league here?
Oh yeah, I mean, I think I have a bit of a stronger message. You, Mike Karson, being in a similar position, they should be very afraid. I have a team. Remember that's been the number 1 in the week 3 times this year. I think as boom and bust as they come, but that means that I can take out any of you. Unlikely to win this thing. Very, very possible to take out a powerhouse, though. So, and when I have all those guys back from bye next week, I feel pretty good if I make the playoffs that I can do some damage.
Yeah, man, do some damage. That's the Red Sox motto there. But yeah, no, super exciting. Rooting for both you guys here, honestly. And rivalry week again. It's going to be a lot of fun, no matter what. Still something to play for. Try and beat your rival. Try and get the 2-0 on just to have some bragging rights going into next year. It's gonna be a lot of fun, guys.
Yeah.
I need the Browns to
thanks
win
for-
this. I need the Browns to win this week, so go Browns. They're my pick in Survivor. So
Nice, still in.
yep.
Well, that's impressive that you have a scenario where you've been in that long too. Yeah, so good
Yep.
luck on that.
13,000 people down to
Guess the
1,000.
Titans, your favorite, yeah.
So
Nice. Thanks for joining this week, Karson. I know it can be tricky with your schedule, so I'm glad we found a time.
yep. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, and we'll see y'all next week for the first week of the playoffs.